I'm just thinking back to when we had met. I think it was about this time last year, and there was a drinks event, and we
Mhm.
started talking about the course and like what we were excited to do on this course and such. What made you decide to join it?
So hi Anika, I'm very happy to be here. I'm happy to be of help to the prospective students. So why did I join the IP course? If I remember correctly, I did my undergrad in York, in University of York in politics, philosophy, and economics, and there was one module called global political economy, and I think it was the best module out of my whole course. So the guy that taught there the GPE module later transferred to King's, and I think he was a scholar of IP or something connected to the IP here. So I texted him to get the referral, yeah, and he wrote me a referral here. So I mean, it kind of was lucky at the end of the day, but yeah, that's basically the idea how I got here.
Well, that's really interesting. Did you have any expectations or worries going on to the course?
Yes, many of them. I think expectations. I expected to be in kind of territory that I know will be stimulating and very much interesting for me. Any cost of that, I mean the the assignments or the actual studying, it's secondary nature to me. I knew that it's gonna be interesting, and that's what I expected. That's what I got as well. So yeah, the biggest challenge I think I thought is gonna be living in London and surviving here economically. So
Mm. How did you find living in London?
it was challenging. It was definitely challenging, expensive as well. But I mean, I think this comes to the nature of the course, that it's quite challenging when it comes to time, to disciplining yourself to read, write, and so on and so forth for a whole year. So basically the whole maintenance is additional challenge to all of that. Basically, it's you don't have time to go and visit the city actually at the end of the day that much. So yeah, that's how I find the living in London. That's it was a byproduct of studying here at the end of the day rather than the main task.
Mhm. So, do you have any advice you would give to other international students?
So first of all, if you can, don't use the tube, use the bus. It's cheaper and more convenient, much more convenient than the tube. Your diet you can survive a strange diet for 1 year. Don't push yourself to go and visit all of the places in London, because if you do well in the course, probably you have many opportunities in life to go and see the city. Mm, Besides that, take time to rest sometimes and go to your local pub, your local park. Find like have some comfort, because in this course you won't have much time to have it. So
So, what modules did you take this year?
I think the most notable ones, besides obviously the core IP modules, I had political economy of production, political economy of financial crises, security and emerging threats in the post-Soviet Eurasia, lobbying and policy making in the European Union. What else? What else? I already forgot about most of them. So I don't remember right now. I don't remember most of them, but yeah, they were interesting. Like that's what I remember.
Did you have a favorite one?
I very much like the post-Soviet security one, because it talked about basically the region I come from. So, and what I was interesting very much at the time. So it quite well fit into my interest, like my current interest as well. I got the highest grades out of it, so it's hard not to like.
So, could you tell us a bit about where you come from and how that's like shaped your experience on the course?
So I come from Poland. I come from Warsaw. So I did IB, International Bachelorette, 4 years ago. So I was already quite conditioned to survive a lot of academic requirements and a lot of writing. I think IB offered such challenge that wasn't met by my undergrad studies. It just was met by the discourse. Let's say when it comes to the stress it put me in and the like requirements to work and study. So I was quite prepared for a lot of work basically, and the form of writing here. So, but when it comes to Poland itself, I think it's a different world to how London looks like, how England functions. So it's definitely interesting to be in a place with people of so many various backgrounds and so wide perspectives on life, on ideology, on theories that you actually employ. So Poland, I would say, is quite strange place, like if you were to see it from here. So it's definitely a lot of adapting, definitely. Learning the social, let's say, atmosphere here and how you actually talk with people, what the people are like. So this kind of stuff. But I would say that my knowledge was definitely and my background was definitely relevant to the course, and it helped me and I believe helped other students to get depth in the material, so I can say something coming from a particular place in the world to explain or counter argument something when there's a chance. That's my idea.
Okay. What did you enjoy the most on this course?
I mean, we had a great group on the IPE module where we always discuss and our ideas, challenge our lecturer, Tom. Yes, that was always great to be there to speak with you guys and have this opportunity to a little challenge our worldviews on many issues. That was great. I think just the ability to speak. This is something that I think particularly strange about England, that, and I saw it as well in the undergrad, that people are in this course and they do not use the time. Like lecturer asks the question, like says, ask questions if you want, or is there anything you guys think about? And people are very much like reserved about saying anything. And I'm this kind of student, when I get the chance to speak, I will speak endlessly. So, and I think from what I heard as well from the tutor, from the personal tutor and the lecturers themselves, that they very much appreciate that. So if you have any questions, any fears, anything that you think is of value to the topic discussed, just say it. Just say it. Like, don't be scared, because you pay a lot to be there. So use your time well. If you have this will to speak, just do it. Just do it.
Absolutely. We were very lucky that our group was so talkative during our classes. Were there any challenges you faced over this year?
Yeah, I think many of them. I think besides the living here and having to maintain myself clean constantly, basically, the accommodation I had was there were mice inside.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So we had that was a whole challenge to devise strategy to catch them all. Yeah. I think besides that, I think there was a lot of stress and a lot of, I was constantly exhausted during the course. Like there's so much studying, and if you don't read, you don't need you lose your time going to the lectures or to the seminars. It's mostly about reading, and there's a lot of reading. And I'm not not English, not my first language, so reading in English, it's hard. It's hard. It takes time. It takes more time to process what I actually have learned. So, and there's not that much time for reflection upon what you learn. So, you need to be quite quick in accommodating all of that knowledge, and I think that's challenging. Besides that, I think the weather here is suboptimal, let's say that way, most of the year. So yeah, mentally it's definitely challenging, but it's only 1 year, and it's doable. You know, it's 1 year, you learn a lot, it's hard, but it will be over one day. You know, for me it's gonna be over in like 3 or 4 days. So, you know, I'm happy just to be at the end of it. But I think when it comes to mental side, I think there's a lot of challenge in that. So I know that King's offers a lot of help for people that struggle, that have any meaningful condition, like condition that meaningfully impacts their ability to study, to live, to feel comfortable even. So, I mean, if my advice was, if you guys, prospective students, I mean, have anything that impacts their quality of life and quality of studies, find avenues via King's to solve that, because those things truly help you pass all of the exams, and even 1 week extension sometimes is more than enough to facilitate that. So I think that was the biggest challenge of trying to like make all the ends meet at the end of the day. But you know, it's only 1 year. It's a good course. It's a very interesting course. So I think if I done it, I think most of the people can do it.
So following on to that, is there any other advice you'd give to prospective students?
Definitely try to get some kind of connection with the lecturers, because those are people with their own ideas, with their own theories, with their own research. And for example, like Professor Stockhammer, he's one of the top researchers in the field. I may not agree with all of his theories, or like the insistence in every single module to put his theories, but it's definitely interesting to speak with the man himself, or to learn this kind of perspective from people that spend their whole life on it. So exploit that chance. More than that, I would say read, guys. Like if for real, like you don't need to go to lectures that often. I didn't go to probably most of them, but I took my time to read the text, or at least try to understand what the text is about. So the texts are the most important thing of the course. Then go to seminar, not only because it's required, but because it's actually useful if you have this knowledge of the text in the mind to quite try to argue. And as well, I think for example, like Tom did, they will put the main points of the topic, of current week's topic, in like quite openly. So they will like open of what you should know after this week, what you should then put in your essay when you write about it. Basically, that's how I got it with Tom. Besides that, I mean, if you're able to contain like social life, let's say, or basically the will to like explore London for most of the time, like try to do it. Like focus on a course. It's only 1 year. It seems to be a long time, but I think it went like that. Yeah, and try to connect with people on the course, because most of them are as overwhelmed with the material as you are. They do not know as you what they're gonna do after it, but definitely you can get the shared, how do you say that, shared feeling on confidence in not being confident.
Okay, so once we stopped recording, Cuba and I had a really interesting conversation, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to record it. So yeah, no, we were talking about the different perspectives on the course. Take it away, Cuba.
So my idea was like that people come from different ideological backgrounds. They have different reasons to believe in some narratives or frameworks about life, the world, political economy in general. So I think that the best advice I can give about that is that if you open yourself to different interpretation of the world, you see how much validity is in different kind of theories, different kind of outlooks on political economy. And obviously emotionally, probably most of the people will be aligned with one theory or the other, but I think the course is structured in a way that shows validity and some kind of truth in many different perspectives. And obviously you can be more, for example, concentrated about class analysis or security, as it's my case. But being in this environment of multiple theories trying to account for the same social structure we live in, it's only beneficial to you, because you see how many of those arguments are true, even if not necessarily they come from your kind of background. So my idea is, if you manage to open yourself up, however entrenched you are in your beliefs, this will be only beneficial to you, in a sense that will broaden your perspectives of theories. But you may as well attempt to try to reinforce your perspective by trying to argue with those different stories, with those different schools. And I think that is definitely enriching and one of the best things from this course, in my opinion.
Absolutely, I have to agree with you on that one. Did you have a particular school that you aligned to?
Yes, I think the neo-Weberian school is quite pragmatic. It's not necessarily true in all of its claims. It's only a model, let's say, of reality, but it's very practical. You can apply it to not only to the political side, but to business, to company, to small, any social organization that exists. Obviously, there will be some parts, for example, Marxist class analytic perspective in that, or the let's say free market ideas that somehow go into that structure. But I think it's quite a good scheme to which you can add for example, liberal theory to it, or more Marxist theory, more constructivist theory. So I think it's not necessarily that it's a good framework to then use the classic political debate on it, to compare Marxism with capitalism, to say who is right and who is not. I think that this course is great in going beside that, to show not which school is right or not, but like under what conditions mechanisms presented by, for example, by the Adam Smith can work, when they do not work, what's the security element in all of that, what's the class, does it exist, does not exist, what are the mechanisms by which power occurs basically in societies and in international relations. So it's very much such a complex environment. So the multitude of theories is only a positive thing here, because the environment is so complex that single ideas do not work to explain all of it.
That's so true. Did you have an opinion that changed during the course?
That's a good question. Do I have opinion that changed during that course? I think many of them, but any particular one? I thought definitely one thing about the finance. It's why York, for example, wasn't that much keen on explaining the financial sphere of economy and politics and all of that. I think this course was very strong on finance, that it always came up in any topic that there was some aspects of finance, and I did not appreciate how important the finance is, and I did not appreciate how complex and sometimes strange it is in its nature. So this is definitely what I come out from this course. Yeah.
I have to say, I agree with you. Literally the same thing, because it was towards the end of our course in semester 2 where we talked a lot about global value chains and financialization. And that's when we really looked at the big companies, the big firms that are really in control of all these different aspects of our everyday life, and how they literally own billions in different areas. So I think that was a very interesting thing we looked at.
I mean, there is also one thing that probably all of the people know, many conspiracy theories. And like in IP course, it's something that I claim to be strange or unimaginable, but they are just assumptions of the models very often. So, I mean, it's quite strange to experience that, but it's also very much, it shows a lot that how actually society operates, how companies work, how power and business nexus operates in many different areas of the world. how our standards here in the West are completely non-existent when it comes when those companies operate in third world countries, how much power private entities have, and how states exploit that power into our own benefit. It's a complex and strange story, but definitely so valuable to understand macro processes in the world, but also micro processes in one company setting, I would say. I need to add that my father, I speak a lot with my father about such mechanisms, about hegemony, for example, technology, and he said that those processes occur in his business, for example, that now he started to have a theoretical framework to understand the process in the business in that sense. Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. I like how you mentioned power as well. It seems that every essay I've written, I somehow always talk about Susan Strange's theory of power. Time and time again, it can be applied in so many different situations.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt about it. It's as long as there's some real component to power, I mean, hard power like economy and military, and there's some constructivist, let's say, aspect of narratives, of beliefs, of some kind of things that facilitate consent where the hard power can't. I think this is the idea. I see it as well after the course.
Well, thank you once again for filling us in on that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you to Anika.